Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you just after Arsenal's 4-1 win against Molde here at the Emirates in the Europa League tonight. The players just made their way off the pitch. You can see the media guys in front, TV media guys setting up, waiting for the managers and the players to come out to do a few media interviews, and Mikel Arteta will be talking to us. And I will update you on what he's had to say after that. Probably do a video tomorrow morning going over this game in a little bit more detail and what Mikel Arteta had to say afterwards. But I thought I'd just pop in here, run through a quick review of the match and give my usual player rating. So comfortable win in the end for Arsenal, 4-1 obviously, but it didn't look that way for much of the first half when they really toiled against this Molde side who started well, looked bright and lively. Got themselves in front with their first shot on target. Really good finish actually from 25 yards. Bernd Leno will probably be a little bit disappointed that he let the shot in. Looking at the replays, he probably should have saved it, but fair play to the Molde player. It was a good finish from 25 yards, bent it into the bottom corner. Bit of a sort of bolt from the blue for Arsenal really, because they have been dominant up to that point without creating too many chances. They had one early on from Eddie Nketiah, which the keeper did well to save, but after that they sort of controlled possession, moved the ball around fairly quickly, but didn't do too much with it, didn't look too threatening. And that was kind of the story of the first half, really. They never, after going behind, it didn't look like equalising. They did have the ball in the net, and it was unfairly ruled out. Eddie Nketiah scored it. It was a good ball from Nicolas Pepe, and Nketiah turned it in. Linesman put his flag up, but it was never offside. Good yard out, good yard onside. Willock perhaps was, but the ball didn't reach Willock. It was turned in by Nketiah. So that was a bit unfortunate for Arsenal. It felt a little bit hard done by, but they managed to get themselves level just before half-time to kind of make amends for that and make sure that mistake from the linesman wasn't too crucial. Good goal from Arsenal. It was an own goal in fact, but it was a really good break from a Molde corner. They broke really well. Willock and Xhaka to Nketiah. Nketiah's cross, Willock probably would have turned it in himself, but the Molde defender did the job for him, and that sent Arsenal in 1-1 at half time. It kind of settled the nerves a little bit, and you felt at that point, having got themselves level, they'd probably go on and win it fairly comfortably in the second half, and that is how it proved. It was much better from Arsenal in the second half. They had 11 shots in the second half, they only had 5 in the first. Molde tired, and Arsenal's sort of quality shone through really. Got themselves in front. Again, it was an own goal. Good move again involving Willock and Xhaka. Willock's cross, Nketiah was going to turn it in, but a defender got it there just in front of him, couldn't do much of it, and headed it into his own net, much to Nketiah's annoyance. You kind of see he really wanted that goal. And then the kind of floodgates open really. Arsenal got 2 more, could have had more. Good quality goals from Arsenal. Nicolas Pepe with the third. Saka, who came on in the second half, got in down the left, really good cutback and good finish from Pepe, who had he had a pretty, it was just a typical Nicolas Pepe night really. Some moments of real quality mixed around with some moments of really poor play where you just think, oh, well, how have Arsenal spent £72 million on this man? But then he does stuff like that, like he did against Dundalk last week with that fabulous goal. Really good finish for his goal tonight, and then he set up Joe Willock's finish to make it 4-1 at the end. Deserved goal for Joe Willock. I thought was the best player on the pitch. Good, nice play from El Neni, who come on. He found Pepe in space, and Pepe played in Willock, who finished well, and you could tell he was very happy to get that goal because he played well. He'd been a little bit unlucky just before that with a shot that had gone wide, and at that point in the game Arsenal were very dominant. Molde retired, and Arsenal brought on some substitutes, and the quality between the sort of golfing class between the two teams was fairly obvious, and Arsenal could have had more than the 4 goals they got, but like I said, they had 11 shots in the second half compared to 5 in the first half, and a very convincing win in the end. That's put them in very, very solid position in this group now. 9 points from 9 from the first 3 games. If they go to Molde for the next game and win over there, then this group is wrapped up with 2 games to spare, and you'll certainly see Mikel Arteta then resting a few players for the final 2 games and bringing in a lot of the youngsters, because he went strong again today, which was perhaps stronger than you would have expected. Given they've got the game against Villa coming up and they've got a very demanding schedule at the moment, but that's what he tends to do, Mikel Arteta. He always surprises us with the strength that he picks when he chooses these squads, these teams for the cup games and for the Europa League, and he's done it again today. You had Pepe, you had Willian. Willian was the only player who played against Man United at the weekend who started this one, so it was still 10 changes, but it was stronger than you probably would have expected, with David Luiz starting as well, Sabas and Xhaka in midfield. But no injuries, that was a key thing for Arsenal, and you would, you'll Mikel Arteta, when we do speak to him in a few minutes, he will be very, very happy. You can find out what he has to say on my Twitter feed. Just look for @Charles_Watts. I'll put up on there what he's had to say in terms of reaction to this one. Right, let's quickly go through my player ratings, shall we? We'll start with Bernd Leno, who got the nod in goal. Surprisingly, perhaps ahead of Runarsson, who started against Dundalk, but Arteta clearly wanted his more experienced keeper in goal for this one. Like I said in the sort of review of the match, I think he'll be a bit disappointed with the goal. He didn't have much else to do. One save early in the second half, which probably was going wide anyway, but he'll be disappointed to have been beaten by from 25 yards for the goal. Probably should have done better. So I'm going to give Bernd Leno a 6. Maitland-Niles I thought was pretty good at right back. He certainly, for me, big load of fireworks going off here above the Emirates. It is fireworks night. Ainsley Maitland-Niles thought had a decent game at right back. I'm going to give Ainsley a 7. The two centre backs for me, certainly in the first half, a couple of times they looked a little bit nervy when they're in possession. I'm going to give Mustafi and Luiz a 6. I thought Kolasinac, the left back, was poor. Got into some really good positions, especially in the second half when Arsenal sort of took control of the game and he wasted them time and time again. His final ball was lacking. Kept hitting the first man when he should have done better. Missed an open goal as well, which I'm sure you've probably saw, which almost looked harder to miss and score, but he did miss it. So I'm going to give Sead Kolasinac a 4. I thought Dani Ceballos really came into the game in the second half, began to dictate things in the middle of the park, so I'm going to give Dani a 7. I thought he had a good game, and Granit Xhaka I'm going to give a 7 as well. He was heavily involved in the first 2 own goals, did really well for that. I thought he took control of the game as well alongside Ceballos in the second half, so I'm going to give Granit a 7. In terms of the players further forward, the two wingers, it's tough on Willian. I thought fairly disappointing game from Willian. Didn't really have much influence on it at all. Didn't have any moments on quality in the final third. Unlike Pepe on the other wing, who had a similarly sort of inconsistent game to Willian, but at least provided some real killer moments in the final third. Unlike the Brazilian, so I'm going to give Willian a 5. Joe Willock I thought was Arsenal's standout player. Absolutely deserved his goal at the end, so I'm going to give Joe Willock an 8. He was all over the place, pushing forward. His movement's great. He makes runs that no other player in this Arsenal squad, not just team tonight, but in the whole squad, makes from midfield. Causes teams problems. He always creates space with his runs, and he's good in front of goal. Scored again tonight, just like he did last week. Joe Willock gets an 8 for me, and man of the match, Nicolas Pepe. It's a tough one because I thought it was pretty disappointing on the whole, but he did score a very good goal and he did get an assist, so I'm going to give Nicolas Pepe, just edges himself into a 7, whereas perhaps he probably should have got a 6 in terms of his overall performance, but did what he has to do. He scored a goal and got an assist, and that's what you want from your winger. Frustrating night for Eddie Nketiah. Probably should be sitting there in the change room right now thinking he should have got at least a couple of goals from that. Had 2 ruled out for offside, one of them very unfairly. Would have scored the own goal had the Molde defender not turned it in himself. So frustrating night for Eddie, and you could see that he was a little bit frustrated at the end. I'm going to give Eddie a 6. In terms of the substitutes, not really too many have made an impact. Saka did. I'm going to give I'll give Saka a rating because he did come on, make an impact and set up Pepe's goal with a lovely run and cross on the left. So I'm going to give Saka a 6. I think that's about it from me tonight. It is absolutely freezing here, so I'm apologising if I'm sort of mumbling a little bit, but it's so cold I'm struggling to get my words out. I can see the moon rising above the Emirates right now, and it's a cold one. First one so far. It's got me really thinking about how cold it's going to be during the winter. So thank you for joining me for this latest video. Like I said, I will pop back on and do another one tomorrow. Look at this game in a little bit more depth and talk about what Mikel Arteta had to say as well. So thanks for joining me from the Emirates. It's Arsenal 4, Molde 1.